Hello ladies and gentlemen, as always, I'm your host, AirsoftAL, and I'm out here for a walk at the moment, kind of walking my property, and, well, I had a thought recently, and this is a video I've been meaning to do for a bit, and that's kind of an argument that's been going around for a while now, and that's more or less how magic is completely inadequate to a modern military setting. Now, there are two sides to the argument, and one that has been debated for generations now. When I say generations, I mean this argument has been going on since World War I, ironically enough. I've actually, or at least that's what's speculated, that this argument has been going on for a while now, because, again, it's one of those arguments that are generational. And you cannot make that up. So, I guess the big thing about it is my perspective on it. I'm a military brat. I have family in all branches of the service. Yes, even the Coast Guard. And even freaking Border Patrol. And every other known service known to man. And so I kind of have a unique perspective on this, in that I have family members, both active and veteran, who I have talked to about this subject, who have, like I said, got a unique perspective on it. So, let me just put it like this. Magic in the aerial sense. If let's use Jojo Senki as an example for that. Aerial mages, in the sense of a combat fighter jet, cannot work. However, enhancing said fighter jet with runic magic, or runes, for those of you who are not familiar with the terminology, because rune magic, or at least enhancing rune symbols on an object to enhance it and make it better, is something that can be done. And we've seen this in a variety of media, be it video games or otherwise. Even freaking Warhammer 40k has done this, has a type of rune-style magic. Even D&D, Pathfinder, D&D 5th edition, by the way, has explored, has runes, runic type magic, and even the effects it can do. Because, here's the thing, if you build a fighter jet and you put runic magic on it to where the engines don't overheat, it's able to turn better and handle the G's better, it's better endurance to higher atmosphere, basically making a better aircraft altogether, to where the body is better, it's faster, it's much more sleek. It's basically being able to enhance the aircraft. The same can be applied to other elements as well. Like, again, runic magic is, in a sense, and I am hearing a helicopter, by the way, I don't know if you can hear it or not, but there's a helicopter flying over in the distance. I don't know if it's one of the Blackhawks or Apaches or the Ospreys that usually fly overhead. I don't know. Either way, though. But no, seriously, though. Runic magic is something that I think people should look into. Because magic is not just the whole wand waving or staff waving or enchanting. There is levels to it. There are depths to it. There is an iceberg to it. And that's something I think a lot of people kind of forget about. Now, moving on to the next thing, because a lot of people have said that how magic can enhance combat abilities. And I have talked with a few of my family members who are still in, and kind of asking them, I've given examples to them, be they, Harry Potter's own medical magics, where they're able to basically, where they have, and this is an honest-to-God spell in Harry Potter. In Harry Potter, there's a medical spell where you're able to scan the entire body and it shows what's wrong with it. I told my brother, or not brother, my bad, God damn it. I told a cousin who actually works with a MASH unit, MASH being a type of mobile surgeon operation for the U.S. Army, or at least it's U.S. military in general. I gave my cousin that, and he basically stated that would be a fucking godsend. And, like, in a sense, as a doctor, being able to locate the problem, especially let's say that the patient is covered in blood and, they can't exactly see what's wrong with them, and they have to quickly try and clean up that blood and try to find out where the hole is, what's causing that hole, basically what made the hole in the bastard, and if it's still in there, to cause internal bleeding. If they had the ability to scan the body instantaneously, find the problem, and then fix the problem, that would be a godsend to many a doctor. Not just a combat surgeon, but many a doctor. Because could you imagine what magic could do, what that kind of magic could do for the medical field? Because if that kind of magic was available for instantaneous body scans and instantaneous location and identification of an issue in a human body, that alone would be, again, amazing. Hello, mouse. Alright then, just had a big old freaking rat over there that my cat was chasing. Anyway, now another aspect to the medical magic I kind of want to continue on with is mind magics. Now, obviously, if you've watched Harry Potter or you've read Harry Potter, there's the Imperius Curse, or Imperial Curse, where you're literally able to essentially mind control someone. However, if you dig a little deeper into it, the other mind magics are healing magics, where, let's say, someone is, dealing with something like PTSD or a type of multiple personality disorder or some kind of, issue with the mind. Well, there are magics that actually do help reconstruct the mind, rebuild the mind, kind of help heal the mind in a sense of, just they're able to help out a bit. Now, again, they're very vague on it in the lore, but from what I could understand of it, and even fan interpretation of it, it more or less, like, say you have a trauma, the mind magics they use are able to more or less reconstruct your mind to where you're able to think plainly again, to where you're able to have normal thought again, where you're able to handle the trauma better. Again, it's one of those interesting concepts that honestly is kind of cool, and I love that because, again, just really think about how that could be done for those with PTSD or those with actual, combat trauma issues. That's one of the biggest missteps I think people kind of forget, because they automatically assume magic should be used for combat when they're not automatically looking at what magic can be done to heal. Again, it's just either way though. So, moving back to combat, because I know you sick fucks, basically that's all you care about is combat. So, going to artillery. Now, obviously with aerial mages out of the question, what could be done? In terms of artillery, this is where things can really, really be enhanced, because again, talking with another cousin who's a cannon head, and even talking to my own father, who was a cannon head, who fired not only 155s, but also larger caliber cannons. And if you don't know what those numbers mean, other cannon heads do, and those who understand artillery do. But something that's actually known in Yojosenki is they're able to enhance whatever they touch. And in the Yojosenki lore, and even reading about it in the light novels, artillery mages, or quote-unquote wizards, are able to actually enhance the shells themselves, so when they fire, they basically have a bigger bang for your buck. And the best example my cousin pointed to me is when in Yojosenki they fire, when they use the 8mm Mauser round in the rifles, the Mondragons, basically they're firing essentially a handheld field gun, a small caliber sub 155mm gun, like a pack, like a pack howitzer or something like that, like a portable small gun. Now, you put that logic to a larger caliber, especially like 155, you basically are firing a larger, the round is essentially enhanced with magic or runic magic even, if you want to go with runes, to be much more powerful, much more deadly, much more effective. And that alone, just, again, enhancing it up to the larger calibers, even fucking even if we put that to missiles even. Could you imagine what a missile defense battery, and when I mean a missile defense battery, I mean like a missile battery, like the missile trucks, the missile tracked artillery pieces. You enhance those fuckers, you're basically... I'm just going to let the other guys actually handle that. Yeah, moving on. So, moving back, of course, to the ground forces. While mages are not able to be used in the aerial sense, going with the Yojosenki logic, you don't have to have aerial mages. Ground forces would be a big boon, because while, yes, some magicals are not exactly, in the sense, going to be great for aerial combat, for ground combat, it's a completely different story. And talking to a lot of grunts, again, I gotta love my father on this one. My father, after showing him some Yojosenki stuff, he basically said that if he had that ability to enhance the 50 cal on his Humvee back in Operation Iraqi Freedom, he would have been able to have leveled more than a few buildings that insurgents were staying in when the tanks couldn't get to him in time. There's the key word right there. Areas where tanks and aircraft cannot provide you support. Having the ability to be able to have a weapon which can be effectively used as a portable artillery piece, or portable fire support piece, to enhance that damaging effect, to kill the enemy, is something that is great, not only urban combat, but also emplacements and entrenchments. And taking an example today, let's say that, magic was real today, and the Ukrainian conflict was turned much more deadly, because anyone who had magic with an RPK could basically turn that RPK, or even a Dishka, or even a PKM, into essentially a belt or a magazine-fed, fully automatic autocannon, and literally lay deadly precision down on ground forces. Again, I'm just pulling an example from not only real-world events, but also from examples given to me by other military forces of the U.S. military, and my own family who are currently serving in the U.S. military. I mean, what I'm trying to say is that the examples I'm giving are just that. They are examples given to me by my own family. I'm not saying that magic is end-all, be-all. There will always be a bigger gun. There will always be a bigger fish. What I'm saying is that these are just the examples I was personally given by my family and service members. This is, in my opinion, how they would be used. They would be used in a type of support role. They would be used in a type of, support combat role. They wouldn't be automatically used for frontline use. As for medical, primarily, and this is coming from my brother's, this is a big split, mind you, especially with the U.S. Army. The U.S. Army in particular, because of the spear purchase, my family in the U.S. Army basically split down the middle, saying that the U.S. Army Medical Corps would immediately push for more medical magics. They'd push for more medical mages. They'd push for more medicine. They'd push for something to be able to heal soldiers, to be able to get them back on the front lines, or at least be able to get them back home. Again, using Harry Potter as another good example, which they themselves used, Harry Potter has potions that can not only replenish blood, so you don't have to worry about blood bags, but also are able to regrow bone. As in, honest to God, regrow limbs that have been blown off. There is stasis magic, which is able to essentially freeze the body and keep it in a sort of suspended animation. Again, these are three examples of a good medical idea. Like, say a guy gets his leg, again, this is something of an example that I was given by my cousin in the medical corps. So let's say that a combat surgeon who happens to be magic gets in a guy who got his leg blown off by an IED or a landmine. They're able to use stasis magic to stop the blood loss and use a combination of blood replenishers, like blood replenishing potions, and then of course obviously scale grow, which basically is able to grow back the bone and everything, as well as other potions that are able to literally regrow the guy's leg. The process itself would probably take about a day or two, because that's the actual in-world explanation of how long the potions would take to regrow bone in a limb is about a day or two. So that combat soldier is out for about a day or 2 days. Them being out for a day or 2 days is no big biggie. And basically on day 1 or day 2, basically like overnight or, you know, another day, depending on how bad the injury is, that soldier's able to be combat readied and sent back out. Can throw in freaking mind magics and what have you, and you basically have a soldier who's ready to go back out and basically do the killing again. Again, I'm just throwing out these examples because these are the examples I've been given. And again, there's a lot magic can be done for, but it's not a end-all be-all. These are just small examples of how it can be used to enhance the combat effectiveness of a military force, or enhance basically what is already being done. Because to this day, we don't have the ability to regrow bone or regrow a limb. Unless, of course, you want to do some illegal freaking science, then even then, that's going to take years of research. But magic, again, as much as I hate to say it, actually does have an advantage over sci-fi in the sense of, if it's a modern setting with current magic, then yes, potions and stuff like that actually do work out in that sense. Hell, Harry Potter, for all its insanity and all its craziness and all its wonkiness, at least presents cool ideas that could work. But I've gone and spoke my piece on this, and I'm just going to say this now. There are many things that can trump magic, but I'm giving this from a point of view of a grunt, of engineers, of how it can enhance a military force in a story. Not improve it, not replace it, enhance. And I haven't even gotten to the aspect of Yojosenki where they presented that magic can actually have a type of telescoping effect, where they have magic to where you basically have like a drone's own camera, where, let's say, you don't have, you know, it can be used for counterintelligence or intelligence gathering. Hell, magic that actually is able to not only read the mind, but even extract memories from the mind. And that hasn't even gone into the ethics of it, or even how the CIA would fucking do that, because if you say the CIA wouldn't do that, you're fucking lying to yourself. The CIA would fucking do that. I mean, hell, Patriot Act, anyone? I mean, Jesus Christ. Again, one of those things. I haven't even gotten into the creature aspect yet. Fucking dragons, goblins, elves, fucking dark elves, fucking orcs, trolls, werewolves, giant-ass spiders, zombies, vampires. I haven't even gotten into that. But, ladies and gentlemen, that is another video for another day. And, as always, ladies and gentlemen, I've been AirsoftAL. And if you have anything to comment down below, please do. Be you veteran, active duty, or otherwise, let me know in the comment section down below. From Harry Potter, D&D, Pathfinder, or just magics in general that are actually balanced. I say that, but already I'm laughing my ass off because already people are going to try and go off the fucking deep end over here when those of us who have been playing D&D and Pathfinder for Lord knows how long over here are actually trying to be balanced and good, are giving this explanation. Either way, though, thank you all so very much for watching. As always, I've been AirsoftAL, and I will see you lovely, lovely people in the next video. Till next time. And if you want to help support the channel, PayPal and the pinned comment down below. Till next time, ladies and gentlemen.